The essence of tractor pulling is smoke or noise, or sometimes a combination of both. Today, the Outlaws Pulling Series serves up a treat for the senses with a trio of classes where turbocharged diesel engines belch clouds of smoke and bellow a throaty growl. Tractors and trucks take center stage next.
In the heart of the Midwest, there's a band of modern-day marauders. Mounted atop their beasts, they line up to throw down. They are outlaws.
Every summer, Rock Valley, Iowa welcomes the Outlaw Pulling Series, and this evening we'll have some outstanding competition. Hello everyone, I'm Claude Wood, and along with Dave Bennett and Rick Carlson, we'll be bringing you all the action, starting with the Light Limited Pro Stock.
Light Limited Pro Stocks, 466 cubic inches maximum, a limit on the turbo, right hand down, give the power to the pedal. Let's go to the other end, starting off with the John Deere. Trent Grimes out of Osborne, Missouri, be the first one down the track. He'll have the option to take and or refuse this pull, being the first pull of the class. Front end was pretty well welded down on the track. Didn't really lift it that much, but looks like he's going to take it. 291 feet even.
Go to the replay. You see all those guys standing around behind the tractor. They're in school right now. They're in class. They're making notes on everything that Trent Grimes is doing, hoping it'll pay off for them.
Oh, they counted his weights. They went to school. They'll make changes.
That'll bring up Willie Wycamp out of Inwood, Iowa. He drives Red Rascal.
Red Rascal, one of the tractors that floats around from different associations. Runs Outlaw, runs local association. You see all that water coming out right there? You think something's broke. It's just an overflow pressure of the motor forcing it out of his holding tank. Not a bad deal. He only goes 279.84, good and straight, just not a good distance for the International.
As we take a look at the replay, we wonder, wheels up right there, so he's losing a little bit of distance right off the bat.
Way it bounced up right there. You know, I'm still concerned about that water. Back in the olden days, and I'm talking 10, 15 years ago, if you dropped more at that much water, they would disqualify you because they felt like it was an advantage, but not anymore.
Good look at Brady Gosler getting ready to pull. He drives Spare Time.
Old style John Deere, good looking machine. Got the weights as far out as he legally can because there is a limitation on how long you can make these machines from the center of the rear axle. Got some good ground speed. Front end floating just a little bit. Oh, really nice run, 296.09.
And that's good enough to put Brady into the lead.
And you mentioned a while ago about the guys going to school. You got to remember now, this is a two-session day. These tractors run this afternoon in the heat of the day. They've tore this track up. They've redone it. They've put water in it. The traction is going to be different, and Brady's going to be happy with that pull. Let's go down to Rick Carlson.
Brady, how did it feel?
It felt good. Track's really getting a hold of us here in this evening session, a little more than it did today, so we'll see if it'll hold up or not.
And that'll bring up Alan Shellum out of Sherman, South Dakota. Alan's tractor is Constant Chaos.
It's always Constant Chaos. And, you know, you talk about out of South Dakota, we got like 5 different states represented in this class, all coming to the big show in Rock Valley to run up against the big boys. And this boy's running up against the big boys. He is up there, long ways up there. 293.68, he goes into number 2 spot.
You see the end result right here on the starting line where all of the experience takes hold, easing right into the throttle.
These guys cannot dump the clutch or the motor will choke. They got to slide that clutch, and these guys are doing a great job of that.
And here's a guy that's got a lot of irons in the fire, Brad Campbell. He's a rancher, a farmer, and works in the trucking industry.
He's for a fact out of Ravenna, Nebraska. Hometown of pulling in Nebraska is Ravenna, but we are in Iowa with the White Snake. Brad Campbell drifted over to that left side, still pretty smooth. Driving to the other end, the motor didn't give up. That motor kept the RPM up there all the way as he goes 290 feet, .29. Looks like that'll put him in 4th place.
Go to the replay, real easy off the line. You notice in the background the number of competitors, that number diminishing. Those guys are taking notes, going back to their tractors and getting ready to pull. And as Dave said, Brad Campbell moves into 4th place. As we go to the leaderboard, John Deere making a strong stand. Positions 1 through 3. It's the Internationals, 4th and 5th. More when we come back.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by Extreme Performance Tire Cutting, Be Supreme, by Extreme, Will Cross Seed, good product, good prices, good service. Sapp Brothers, visit one of our 16 full-service truck stops today. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Welcome back to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa, the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series. Light Limited Pro Stocks continuing with Travis Steen. He drives Big Red.
Oh, this tractor has been on a tear from the beginning of the season right on into Rock Valley. This International has come to play ball. Man out of South Dakota. Oh, bouncy, bouncy. That's hard on your back, that's hard on equipment, and that's not going to be a good distance. That cost him $277.86.
Go to the replay. We've mentioned so many of the pullers have been so smooth. What happened that he bounced so much on this one?
Well, I'm going to call it a clutch problem is what I'm going to call it, because when the motor's trying to go and the tires are trying to grab, the clutch don't want to play. Let's find out down there with Rick Carlson.
Travis, that didn't look like fun.
That wasn't. We must have clutch trouble or something brewing down in there creating that bounce.
Our next driver on an International is Brad Yonke out of Winside, Nebraska.
Not hard to tell this tractor's brand new. We ain't worried about the show. We're worried about the go. We didn't paint it, and we're going to go to the other end or try to. The Yonke family is serious as you can be. This is one of the guys we seen standing over in that backpack a while ago, going to school. And boy, he gets an A for the day. He just took the lead at 3:01 and 47.
And Dave, it looks to me like he really hit the weight balance correctly on this.
It's such a fine art to get the weights in the right spot and slide the clutch. You notice his front tires bouncing 2 or 3 times. He'd really like to have held them up there about 4 inches, but he'll still take that run.
And backing up the Crazy 8, this is Denny Grody out of Dunlap, Iowa.
A lot of pullers in Dunlap, Iowa. Right in the center of Iowa, does a great job with all the pullers. Crazy 8 International, he goes up against his kinfolks with John Deere. He goes up a lot of competition in this class. This track is starting to turn around. These boys are getting more bite. We're getting into the evening hours now. The moisture's coming up. 3:06.39, got a brand spanking new leader International.
And a very good run. Let's go on board.
You can see the smoke. Hear the motor whine a little bit, but the power coming on. Notice his front tires. He's not trying to drive it. He's just letting the tractor go to the other end. Very smooth, very clean.
International driver, some of his relatives you said have John Deere. Can't you imagine some of the supper time conversations?
Oh, can't you though? Here's another shot of him. I love this shot right here. Shows you a little bit of the ground speed. You know, time has nothing to do with it, but when you're going fast, you're going to go farther.
And keeping it all in the family, at least the Grody family, this is Tim, and he drives Spear the Fawn.
Yeah, we're going to find out who's got bragging rights at Thanksgiving dinner, whether it be the International or John Deere, where they go. Now, you got one Grody in the lead. Spear the Fawn is gunning for him. See the wrinkle in the tires? Just run out of ponies. Oh, he might have liked to drop the gear. 299.72. He's going to settle for third right now.
On the end, Dave, if you said he ran out of horsepower, did he have a wrong gear selected on the takeoff?
That would be my thought on the deal, because the motor went down too hard and fast. You got good ground speed right here, rocking and rolling, and all of a sudden he just snuffed, and he looked over to the left. He knew he didn't go far enough.
Going to the leaderboard, International has taken it away from the John Deere boys. International first, second, John Deere third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And coming up after the break, Tim Dunklow and more Light Limited Pro Stock. gorgeous facility on a terrific day for truck and tractor pulling today. Welcome back to Rock Valley, Iowa. Continuing with the light limited pro stocks, this is Tim Dunclow. He's out of Arlington, Nebraska.
Yeah, good running John Deere. You know, Claude, you made reference to the facility. The Rock Valley boys, the Thunder in the Valley, is as good a place you ever want to go to. And these pullers, such as Ground Force right here, love the track preparation that they do for them. This man got all the goodie out of that motor. Just didn't get enough distance. 290 and 69.
So we go on board with the driver. Check out the way these things are put together. The dash, 45-degree angle, everything great line of sight for the driver.
And a lot of times they might not look at it, but you got to remember, all that stuff on the dash has kind of got a tattletale to them to where they can go back and refer to it later.
This is Wes Neiman getting ready to go. He's out of B, Nebraska. His tractor is Always Something.
International, the 806 International, kind of a nostalgia tractor. A lot of guys would just like to have some of that sheet metal for some of the nostalgia tractors. A sharp-looking rig, got a little high. Notice he don't have any weights in front of the tires, and another one of those guys that he would like to have another gear back. He only goes 277 and 58.
And we'll see quite a bit of diversity in this class. I like the new tractors, but it's refreshing sometimes to see some of the older lines come back in.
Right, and you got to keep in mind, now the motors are all 466 cubic inches, so sheet metal, this tractor actually comes to the factory, the 466, but he needs 2 more horsepower.
Eric Clark out of Logan, Iowa, getting ready to go, and he calls his tractor Rackham.
Another one of the guys that you want to keep an eye on. He's a little tough on the clutch right there. You seen him jerk, jump, start. Tractor's struggling a little bit to recover. That motor's trying. Finally reached his high RPM, but it cost him on his momentum. He got a bad start, cost him on his forward momentum. He goes 291.01.
I guess it takes a lot of patience on the starting line, not to hammer down all of a sudden, but to ease on the throttle.
Well, you know, he might have looked at the track and thought there was enough slippage right there that if he was aggressive on the clutch, he could have got a smoother start. But once he went past 100 foot, he had to live with it.
Well, we talked about classic tractors a few minutes ago. Here's a perfect example, the Alice Chalmers, driven by Matthew Vogelsmeyer.
The Pumpkin Express D21. You want to talk about back in the day. The D21 boys was hard to handle, but with technology and the John Deere and the Internationals coming up with the 466s, it has made it tough on the Alice Chalmers boys. And Matthew goes 279 and 20. Not a good pass for him. You've seen him choke on the end, but Claude, you still got to give the young man credit. Doing it with a brand that you don't see much, and he's there battling with them.
Wheels up quite a bit there on the brake just a little bit, pulling him back to the center of the track. And that will bring up Mike Eccles. Now here's something interesting. This is an international guy driving a John Deere. What's up with that?
This has got to be hurting Eccles' feelings just a little bit. His all-in tractor that he's won with 3 times in a row coming in is broke, and the John Deere guy throws him into the seat. So the blowing bucks of Jones puts Eccles in the seat. What kind of a distance is he going to come up with? 298.45. He'd have went farther if he hadn't had a hard start.
Well, maybe a little bit of inexperience driving this particular tractor. A lot of bouncy going on there.
Yeah, that'll put him into 4th place right now. He could have gone up the line a little bit, just a little rough on the clutch, but I know he's not used to the feel of that clutch.
Jared Hagen coming up now. He's out of Hurley, South Dakota, and I guess he's really dedicated to John Deere, forever green.
Yeah, they're John Deere boys. I don't care where you're at. John Deere boys are forever green, and this is one of them. You've seen South Dakota, you've seen Iowa, you've seen Nebraska, you've seen Missouri. Another one of the guys is charging hard. They're lacking that one spot. The boys ain't moved out of that track. We're going to go over to 3:14.67. Right there is your winner. John Deere just went to the top.
And he had a great run. Wow, wheels away up, but he really didn't have to hit the brakes right there. He stayed with the pull, and that paid off for him.
Yeah, he recovered from that wheel stand and done a great job. Let's go down to Rick Carlson.
Jared, you waited to the end, but then you put up the big numbers.
Yeah, it weren't really good. Really happy to be here and felt good.
Checking out the final results, a switcheroo. Now John Deere takes it away from the International boys. International 2nd and 3rd place. When we come back, it'll be Diesel Super Stock Tractors. Matt Goodwin gonna pull.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Precision Turbo, the world's foremost manufacturer of high-performance aftermarket turbochargers. VP Racing, the world leader in race fuel technology. And by Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
What a great crowd on hand today in Rock Valley, Iowa, enjoying Thunder in the Valley. And our first puller will be Matt Goodwin, a crop insurance salesman, and he's won a lot of championships. He drives Intimidator.
I'm here to tell you this guy's walked up the podium a many a time and picked up the year-end trophy. Oh, get it on. He blew the tires on the starting line, but he recovered. Go on down the track, a great way to start this class off. Listen to this, 351 feet, .96. What a pass.
Well, he had the whole thing coming together. Twin stacks, starts out light smoke, goes to that good-looking black smoke, and on down the track.
Does for a fact, and you've seen where he blew the tires, but a great job of that tractor recovering. Let's go down to Rick Carlson and see what he had to say about it.
Matt, you got to like that one.
Oh, that was fun. It fluttered a little bit in the hole. Kind of tried to ease it out this afternoon. I got the tires buzzing a little too hard, but got the tires hooked and felt good.
Richard Cool, our next puller. He's a farmer, longtime Outlaw puller. His tractor is called Hot Stuff.
And a new look for the Hot Stuff tractors. He redone it over the winter months, putting some more ponies underneath the hood. Still learning how to handle those ponies, still learning where to put the weight to make that horsepower work the best for him. Not a good distance, but it's still running, still a new tractor, 264.03. So there's a lot of things you got to check out on a brand new rig. You notice his eyes right there at the beginning. He was looking at that dash to see some temperatures or pressure or whatever.
And what I notice on this replay, Dave, he is working that steering wheel too much.
Yeah, you hate to see somebody work a steering wheel that much, because take a look at this head-on shot now, keeping in mind that he's working that steering wheel, but at this point, the tires are off the ground. That's just habit turning the steering wheel. Going across the track, like I say, he's got to be happy. It's still running, still going. He'll get the ponies out of that tractor, and it'll be back.
Roger Peterson coming up next. Not an Outlaw puller most of the time. His tractor is called Just Another One.
Well, the guy out of Minnesota is where he comes from. Coming down to play the big boys at the big show at Rock Valley. John Deere's in there chasing that Case IH tractor, and boy, did it die hard right there. 303 and 39. Claude, let's set on board right here. The twin stacks, you gotta love that smoke blowing out of the twin stack.
You sure do, and in this class, Dave, some of the pullers use one stack. Any advantage one over the other?
The single stack, they get rid of the air pressure with a bigger pipe. You go to two pipes, you got that much more to get rid of the air pressure out of the 3 and 4 turbos. But this tractor died hard right on the end, as we see on this replay. He was making a pass, just couldn't handle the gear.
And that will bring up Mark Ulmer out of Minnow, South Dakota. His tractor is called Lost.
Well, this tractor is not lost on the track. Love the mural, the South Dakota man with the Mount Rushmore mural on the side. But when it comes to going down the track, this guy can hoot and scoot. Rock and roll, go past the white stripe, make the flagman back up. 334.92, that moves him into second. Long ways back behind Superman, but a great run.
Neat setup there on the front. Beside the weights, he's got both fuel tanks there, but there is a certain amount of distance you can't go past.
Everything you see on the tractor, the distance, the weight, the wheelie bars, everything has got a rule.
Earlier today, we saw a Nostalgia D21 Alice tractor. This one is the newer line Agco Blackjack 21.
And he used to run a D21 until he come out with more ponies and more horsepower and went to the Blackjack 21 right here. He's got a problem. That motor had a sound in it. The smoke went away. Disappointing distance of 275 and 64 for Mike Schultz.
Final results, they call Matt Goodwin Superman. He prevails, and the battle between Goodwin and Ulmer will continue another day. Diesel 4x4. We'll look at some highlights from the class. First up, their own Cherokee.
The Dodge power. You'll see Dodge, Chevrolets, and Fords, but Dodge are predominant. Duals on the rear. They run a 2.8 turbo. Kind of get you into the rules of the class a little bit. This one's got the Cummins motor in it. And he shows why we show highlights. He got right down there on a good run, 327 feet, .20.
And from Dodge to Chevrolet, this is Josh O'Connor, Smokin' Diesel Performance.
A lot of performance company getting in the diesel world. Notice the size of that stack right there. That exhaust is big, letting all that air pressure out. Beef up the frames. These boys can hoot and scoot. He's kind of wishing he had scooted into a lower gear. Sounds like he pulled that motor down, but he goes 294 and 84.
And our last puller driving a Dodge is Jim Greenway. He's a diesel performance mechanic.
Oh, he can get the power out of him. This is one of your standbys in this class that really knows how to rock and roll. Man out of Galena, Missouri. His wife even drives sometimes. Looky here, the flagman's having to run to get out of the way. Hey, come back here. Crowd loving it. There is you a winner at 392 feet, .29.
Go to the replay. It's a good thing he went to the left of the track, Dave, or he would have created a new door back there.
He hit the gate. But there you go. You're talking ground speed. You're talking power, right gear, good selection. Down to the dry dirt, it don't get no better.
Driving it out the back door held up.
Yeah, I was hoping it would. We got down there on that loose stuff. The pan hit it, and it just took off. I knew we had a pretty good shot. You got to take them how you can get them.
And that'll put a wrap on a great day of pulling today from Rock Valley, Iowa. For Rick Carlson and Dave Bennett, Claude Wood, so long. See you next time.